Hello and welcome to the Daily Jam. My name's Jamal Salem. So I wanted to give an update. I haven't given much of an update in about a week. Well, I filmed a video last week. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I will do that first before uploading this video. I just wanted to give an update. I have nothing really planned that I want to say, so I'm just going to see come what may. And basically, one thing I was thinking about is with these videos, the way I present myself, I'm deliberately not presenting myself as this caricature of like utmost coolness or anything like that, at least in like a false representation of who I am. And, in order to gain popularity or whatever, I don't know. But like, I just mean it's very important to me to show myself as I am and talk about things that I've been through, particularly in the past 5 to 6 years, very traumatic experiences that I'm sure many people can relate to. Everybody has their own form of traumatic experience they've been through basically since COVID time, since lockdown, either for themselves or they know someone close to them, a friend or relative, someone that they are close with, that they know has experienced hardship since then. So my aim is to present the truth of my situation as best I can without my own personal self-deception, but just talking about struggles and things that I've been through, because it's been a rough and rocky ride, and I feel like I've regained a bit of my momentum, but it's still ongoing. It's ongoing. It's an ongoing test, life. You know how life goes. It's ongoing. You don't want to jinx it, that kind of thing. But it was quite a few years of just pure devastation, feeling lost, all of that stuff. So my point being that it's very important for me to just be open, like as open as possible. Like, here's my heart, here's the window, and this is what I've been going through. And it can be very alienating. It can be very lonely, carrying this very unique kind of pain in your soul, even though you've got people that love you and care about you and want to help you. Sometimes it's nothing that anybody can do or say necessarily. It's some things we just have to go through and make sense of for ourselves. But of course, don't isolate yourself unnecessarily, and seek support where you can, because that is healing, connecting with people. I feel like that's what we're here to do. I feel like that's what we're designed for on some level, is connection. But just being conscious of the limits of what other people can handle. Not everybody can handle your pain and that kind of thing, or not everybody has the capacity to understand, because some levels of suffering stretch your mind and your soul to new dimensions that it can never return back to from. And you can generally sense people that are open to hearing, that have been through their own kind of trauma. And then some people you can sense have a bit more of an innocence to them. And it's not to judge anyone, it's more just to pick your audience, know who is capable of receiving you and what you have to say, and who isn't, basically. And it's all fine, it's all love. But just knowing that really helps. And I guess this week I've been going to a lot of church. I've been going to Mass, Sunday Mass, of course. That's a big theme of this podcast, this channel, and what I've been talking about the past couple of months since I've gone sober. About 2 months ago, over 2 months ago now, the end of May, I think it was, that I went sober, like 21st of May, something like that. And it's the first time I've gone sober where I'm not really counting the days. Like, someone asked me recently how long I've been sober for, and I had to really reflect, because I just feel like I've been in a timeless realm, and not in a bad way. I mean it like I just am not counting the days anymore. It's not like this struggle of like, oh man, this is my 90th day sober. It's just a choice that I made, and I feel better for it. And so it's not like something that I'm measuring the length of. I just am glad to be on this better path. And I'm not saying that as like a way to cope with it. I actually just didn't get enjoyment anymore from smoking and drinking. And for me, in truth, it was like weighing it up because I was getting health issues, these various health issues that felt like I was being inhabited by demons. And I could have sworn it was because I was starting to drink more than I'd ever drank alcohol in my life. And I felt like I was just getting diseases that I'd never gotten that sick before, and getting like weird infections, like this infection on my finger I had for like a few weeks and that kind of thing. And it just wasn't going away. I had to blah, blah, blah. So it was like weighing it up. Some people, sometimes the pain outweighs the pleasure. And it's just like, well, what am I doing? And I had this experience, I think maybe I've talked about it, where it was like this voice, but it wasn't a voice, but it was like this presence, but it wasn't a presence. It was like me, but like a deeper part of me, like a kind of knowing that just realized, okay, it's time to stop that. You are going to stop drinking, you're going to stop smoking, and you're going to attend church every Sunday. And I'd never attended church before. I always struggled with the idea of getting up on a Sunday morning, particularly because I'm a musician. Gigs are often late at night. Teaching is often afternoons, evenings. So my whole schedule is shifted over. I'm like a night shift schedule person. So the thought of going to church on Sunday, I was like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to be that person ever. But this voice took over me, and I've been going to church ever since May 21st, that week of May 21st. I've been going to Sunday Mass at the local Catholic parish ever since. And I spoke to one of the priests at one point, and they said to me, I told them a bit of my story because they asked why I started coming to church, why I'm here basically, why I'm there, like attending. And I just gave the abridged version that I just gave you with a little bit more detail sprinkled in there. Try not to cough. And he described that as the voice of conscience. What I encountered was what they would call in Catholic terms the voice of conscience. So I thought that sounded pretty cool. But so that's why I'm here, and that's part of these videos, this podcast, if you will, is following that initial train of motivation, of this clarity that I started gaining or regaining ever since sobering up. And so I've been going to church, and I've actually been attending, just in the past week or so, I've started attending Mass other than Sunday Mass. So last Friday, so today is Wednesday. Last Friday, I went to a morning mass, like at 9:30 a.m. Still, I need that kind of late morning mass. But it was because I happened to be awake due to various factors. I was awake early on last Friday morning, around like 5, 6 a.m. I was up and awake. So I went and watched the sunrise by the ocean. And then I drove home, and I thought, oh, I should have gone to the big cathedral because they have a 7 a.m. mass. The time I got home, it was 7:30 a.m. And so I looked up other morning mass in my local surrounds on a Friday morning, and I found one for 9:30 a.m. And I attended, and it was really cool to visit another church and to see how they go about things. Really beautiful church, kind of shaped like a segment of a circle, like a cone segment, like the shape of a fan. You know, it's kind of like a triangle, but curved on the edge. And yeah, just really beautiful structure. And so I've been attending Mass. On the Sunday, I went to a completely different town's Mass than my local parish, just because I had to be somewhere else later in the day. So I found a church closer to where I had to be. Really beautiful ceremony, really incredibly beautiful. I think I made a video about it. I don't know if I've uploaded it yet, but just lots of incense used, but where it's like the chain with a ball where the smoke, the incense is coming out of, and someone's like swinging it back and forth. One of the assistant priests, I assume, swinging it back and forth. And so the whole room was just filled with this incense, and it was packed as well. Like the church was packed with people as well. So that was a really, really beautiful experience that I wish everybody could witness and be part of, even just as like a phenomenon of the world, just to see everybody gathered for this special sacred thing, the sacredness of life and the meaning of life. So people from all walks of life gathered for this very special devotion. I wish everybody could experience that. And so that was really cool to go to that church. And so since then, I've also attended, I think I went to a Tuesday mass. I didn't go on Monday. I don't know what I was doing Monday, but I think I started to miss it by Tuesday morning. So I went to Tuesday morning mass. I found another church in my local area. So it's cool. Now I'm getting this experience of all different churches and how they all operate and seeing the similarities and the differences. It's really, really cool. And it's also like a time capsule for me because I never attended church in my life, except for like, with school, they take you to the local church, but I never really cared about religion. We didn't talk about religion in my family or anything like that. So for me, it was just in one ear and out the other kind of thing. If anything, I was like repulsed by it. Oh, repulsed is a strong word, but I was unattracted to it. It just, smelt like not old people. I don't mean it in an insulting way, but it just smelt like old furniture and old church buildings. So I had this association of like religion of being like just like old, but not old like ancient, like that musty smell. Like I just mean when I was a kid, that's what church was to me, and I didn't really think much more about it since then, or like I didn't think much about it at that time. I didn't think much else about it, and so this is like a time capsule for me because I get to learn the customs, the ritual of Mass, because there's a lot going on with Mass, especially the first time you ever go. It can be very confusing and you just want to be respectful, and you can feel kind of like shy and awkward in the sense of you don't want to do the wrong thing. You want to be respectful and you don't want to be the odd one out, that kind of thing, of the group. But the more that I go to Mass through the week, it's like getting me up to speed with the practices. But I've still got a lot to learn. I've still got a long way to go. But hey, I've got the rest of my life, however long or short that may be. And I'm not saying that in a lazy way, and I'm not saying it in a rushing way. I just mean everything happens in its time. And so I'm enjoying this process, and I went to another Mass today. I'll go to another one tomorrow, probably at the local university because I know the priest that runs it. And I'm also getting coffee tomorrow morning with another priest that I met at another church event. So I'm really looking forward to that. I don't even know what we'll talk about. I'm just deliberately not going with any particular questions in mind and just seeing where the conversation goes, and just talk about life and God and meaning and purpose, the usual. And so that's probably the coolest thing about life for me right now, is making faith and devotion at the center of my life and operating my life around faith and devotion. That's like a pretty new development for me, something I never expected for my life, for myself. And so that's something that I really adore, and I encourage it, and I just want to share that as something that is possible, because worldly things can only satisfy so much. There's like a time limit of satisfaction it can offer, but matters of devotion, faith, grace, they satisfy the timeless part of the soul. They satisfy something deep within that makes you realize that the worldly stuff is peripheral relative to your inner core, your inner truth, understanding, your inner grace and your inner generosity, your inner passion, your inner kindness, your inner gratitude. It's of a different quality altogether. It's of a different nature altogether than worldly or than matters of the senses, like taste, like, pleasure. It's a different kind of pleasure. Probably wouldn't use the word pleasure in association with this, but it is a different kind of, it's like the pleasure you get from helping people, the pleasure you get from volunteering, the pleasure you get from offering kindness to people. So that's something that I think can and will and does make the world a better place. And it just makes you a better person. And I know people have a lot of opinions about religion and church, but to me it's like, hey, if it makes you a better person, it makes you feel like a better person, it makes you a more generous, kind, giving, understanding, forgiving, gracious human, then I don't know if it's, I think maybe we've been misled by popular culture, is my suspicion, is my conviction. But that's really the latest, and working on an app. So I made an update for that app last week, the Geometronome, my metronome app. You can check that out, Geometronome. Go to my website, jamalsalem.com.au. Check out the Geometronome. I use AI captions for these videos, and it never knows how to spell Geometronome. So we'll see how it goes this time. But that's the bulk of what I wanted to talk about, really. I've been attending church group sessions each Wednesday evening, and it's really cool just meeting people, talking to people of the same faith, people who also care about the meaning of life. I'm not saying you don't. I'm not saying other people do it. I don't mean it as a judgment, but I just mean it's really important to find your tribe, because otherwise you can just feel out of place in social groups when people have completely different values. It's cool to have friends with different values, but sometimes it can just feel like clashing or like butting heads or like just not fully seeing each other properly. So it's cool to attend groups where you can feel fully seen. And anyway, I've nearly been talking for 20 minutes, so I might wrap that one up there, but that's just the latest update. And I hope you are safe and well and healthy. I hope you feel good. I hope you feel strong. I hope you feel loved. That's mainly, whether we feel good or bad is one thing and it's temporary, but at least feel loved within yourself, even if it's your own love. I hope you feel the worth of yourself within yourself, and that you feel the love because you are loved. And I wish you all the best, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace out, baby.